Right then, today I will be testing this Abit BF6 motherboard. It has a BX440 chipset, I think it is. It's a slot 1 motherboard, as you can see there. There's the slot. It's got fairly nice caps on it. None of them are bulging or anything. It's got a fairly meaty VRM delivery. I have just tested a Aopen AX6B, which is a slightly better motherboard in my opinion, or it should be. But I have bought two of these boards to see which overclocks a Pentium II and Pentium III is better. So we will see. I will be testing this Pentium II 233 MHz CPU. I'll just be booting into the BIOS really. I've got two 128 megabyte sticks of RAM and a Nvidia MX 440 graphics card. So I will be filming me build this PC up, although there's not really much to do apart from put RAM graphics card CPU in and plug in a 20 out of the 24 pin panel. So I will film me putting it together and then I'll film turning it on and see if it works. So here it is, up and running. This is the Abit BF6. As you can see, it is working. I'll press delete to go into the BIOS. Doesn't have a hard drive in it currently. This is a very good BIOS. As you can see, you can change everything just like in a normal PC BIOS. It's pretty impressive really. As you can see, it's just like your standard, I don't know, 775 unlocked multiplier, everything. It's really impressive. Is this BIOS? You can change the multiplier. Isn't really locked. I mean, it goes up to 12, but what are you really gonna run at over 1,000 megahertz with a 233 megahertz Pentium? I don't think so. So yeah, this is a really impressive BIOS. You can see you can set the core voltage, although plus is actually minus, which is a bit weird. It goes up to 3.3 volts. Tells you what default voltage is, I/O, spread spectrum enabled or disabled. Really nice BIOS on these Abit boards, as I'm pretty sure they were the first people to have overclocking in the BIOS. So this BIOS is really good. Level 1 and 2 CPU cache you can choose to enable or disable. All sorts of different settings for everything really. All your RAM timings. Absolutely brilliant. Oh yeah, drives. It is literally the same, probably all the way up to like P67 or P55 boards. The BIOS looks exactly the same as this, which is really impressive considering this board is really old. You can see the warning temperature is 70 degrees Celsius, currently at 24 degrees Celsius. It's not detecting that I've plugged a fan in. I presume that's because this fan spins too slow, because it only does like 800 RPM. but CPU temperature is actually NA, which is also interesting. Maybe these P2s don't have temperature sensors on them. Okay then, it does seem to have frozen, which is a bit weird. So yeah, anyway, there it is. The Abit BF6 working. Really nice BIOS. I'm not entirely sure why it's frozen, but I will be testing this against my Aopen board and see which is best at overclocking. I'm really liking this one so far. Another thing I need to mention is the dip switches. So if you're really old school and you don't want to use the BIOS to overclock, you can use those dip switches there. If not, you can just use the BIOS. So that's it really on these two boards for now. I will be coming back to these obviously when I get an ID hard drive to fit them, because currently my only ID hard drive runs on socket A, which is AMD, and I don't really want to wipe that just to do this. I'll be able to pick up an ID hard drive fairly cheap. So yeah, I think that's it for now, until I get a hard drive, and then I'll be installing XP, running SuperPi, see which board is more efficient. This board is a narrower board than the other one. This one's like one of those thin ATX boards, and the other one is like a full ATX board. But Abit boards do tend to be really good for overclocking. So we will see. So, see ya.